Welcome to Those Guys Sports. It is your boy Mike. And if I have Mr. Tribal Chief behind me, then you know I'm doing another wrestling podcast. Why? Because, like I said, wrestling has been really fun. Just had to make another one. I even on my TikTok talked about some wrestling. I talked about All In because it just happened. So I'm gonna talk about some more wrestling. I had things I was gonna say last week, but then we had some tragic news with Terry Funk and and Bray Wyatt, and it was just I feel like it wasn't the right time. I kind of wanted to read a few things about them more and more. Like I feel like I learned more about Terry Funk through listening to certain wrestling podcasts and then kind of researching myself. Like I didn't, you know, the one thing. Hold on. First of all, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you follow on all social media platforms. This is your boy Mike. This is my wrestling show. I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but I acknowledge my tribal chief. I acknowledge you, my tribal chief. Always acknowledge your tribal chief. Roman Reigns. So I acknowledge him. Now, if I get to wanted to talk about, like I said, I have a few things. I probably gonna talk about CM Punk and Brawl Out 2 or Brawl In, but Out 2, whatever we're gonna call it now. But yeah, so first I want to talk about the passings of Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. Now, when we talk about Terry Funk, he came from a wrestling family, which I knew about from before, that he came from a wrestling family. But the one thing I didn't know was like, when I came into wrestling and when I started watching wrestling, yeah, I watched some old school stuff, but I never really saw his name. I didn't really know about the territories. I love the Dark Side of the Ring because now I've learned so much more about the territories and like different things, and I've searched more because of like I've always had a deep interest in wrestling. I have really come to terms with like I've always loved wrestling, and I've always come to a deep appreciation of the craft that these guys have every single day, week, whatever. So yeah, and saying that with Terry Funk, I didn't know that he was so spectacular, the NWA champion, such a great wrestler. Many people are calling this guy the greatest wrestler of all time. And you think to yourself, like, when I first got introduced to him, he was just beside Mick Foley, doing a lot of hardcore things. I believe he was a part of ECW. I knew that at the time. I'm like, oh, he's just a hardcore legend. Even his work in New Japan Wrestling, he did a lot of hardcore matches. So like I always known him as this hardcore legend. I didn't know he was, just a non-hardcore legend. Like I thought he was just I thought he was just that, but he wasn't. He had many fights. Him being the NWA champion, at those times, especially if you're the NWA champion, they I'm part of my friend. They fucked with you. They really they fucked with you if you were NWA champion. That means people loved you, the company loved you, like you're that guy. I think sometimes WWE they may make a champion for entertainment purposes, or like some we want to make a certain area bigger, so let's drop this person the title. I can see that happening. But for the NWA, if you get the title, it's because they truly believe that you're someone who can carry the title, go to multiple places. And these guys were fighting like multiple times a week, like they're doing right now as well. And it was kind of nice to see that Terry Funk was this legend, like that this outside legend I didn't even know. I heard it, listening to a podcast. They spoke about his love for his wife and how he quit the wrestling business to try to convince her to take him back. Like that's just a movie. That's a movie. That's a movie script right there. That's literally the Notebook. Like that's all these movies, man. And it was just so cool to see a guy who you would think is like of course he was committed to the wrestling business, but he quit it all for his wife, and that's pretty like admirable, I would say, for a man or a woman to do such a thing. But yeah, I'm gonna start watching some of his old school matches just to see, especially his NWA ones, of course, because I want to see the type of wrestler he was before. I'm like I said, I'm shocked that I didn't know, and it sucks that sometimes something like this has to happen for you to start doing some research on some people. But yeah, R.I.P. to Terry Funk. Thoughts and prayers with his family. Now, when it comes to Bray Wyatt, that one hit. I think that one hit a lot of people in the current wrestling sphere harder because they're around that person more, and people like like Bray. Now, Bray Wyatt was in the Wyatt family. We lost Luke Harper. We have Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman, the two guys who were around these guys the most at one point in time WWE. lost both of their guys. They literally lost like the leader and the second in command. Second in command passed away, Luke Harper, uh, about a year and a half ago, and then we lost Bray Wyatt. You know, he passed away in his sleep. You know, thoughts and prayers go out to his kids. I believe he has 4 kids. His current partner and JoJo. Um, yeah, it sucks. Now, when it comes to Bray Wyatt and the Fiend character, that's a character that it was cool to see. It was kind of like the good side and Bray Wyatt when he did Yowie Wowie and the Firehouse Funhouse was so cool and so fun. And then you had the Fiend part of him where that guy couldn't get beat. He was like a demon. I think certain things you wish happened, like that match with him and Goldberg. You wish that he won. Match with him and Seth, that could have been better. The WrestleMania match with Randy Orton could have been better. But I think overall his character lost. But if they built him stronger, it would have been better. But he was still such a character. He was a guy that when he came back in Saudi Arabia, was Night of Champions or one of the events in Saudi Arabia, and he came back. That was a crazy reaction, and everyone was happy. And then his promo coming back from SmackDown, thanking everyone, very emotional program. You could tell he was in a bad place at one point, and he was happy that everyone loved him the way they loved him. And he was always a character that everyone was interested in. Always, he was the one that people don't realize, like him and Braun Strowman, that match. That's the match that started my guy behind me, the tribal chief. Like that's where the tribal chief came. That's where he turned heel. He turned heel on Braun Strowman and the Fiend. And yeah, I just think Bray Wyatt he's just her. You can tell a lot of people love the man William Rotunda, and they appreciated everything he did for the industry at the time. He literally was, the new version of. 'Cause I think sometimes WWE and even AEW, I feel like everyone's trying to find the next like creepy dude, like the next Kane, the next Undertaker, but to still be very popular at the same time, because that's hard to be creepy and still popular, and especially popular with kids. That's what Undertaker was. That's what Kane became. And even in a small sense, Abyss in TNA was like that. So Sting, yeah, he once he put the face makeup, he was a different guy. He was a little bit more scarier, but that uniqueness is what brought them in. And Bray Wyatt had that same uniqueness, and you really felt that he was the new version of those guys. So to see Bray Wyatt, way more time to pass, it's sad. Especially when you see the reactions between all the superstars. One of the saddest things, and all you can say thoughts and prayers to his family. WWE Universe, we lost a good one, a really good one in him, and he was just a special talent. He was a good wrestler, great on the mic, entertaining as hell. Who wasn't interested in the Fiend and Randy Orton storyline? Like that was a really good storyline actually going into it, where a lot of people still wanted Luke Harper to be a part of it to make it like a 3-way match. But it was good, man. I just think overall it was really entertaining. But yeah, RIP to Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. We appreciate you. Thank you for what you've done to the wrestling for the wrestling business. Something that will never really go away, and we appreciate that. So for me to move on, because as I think they would want, everyone got to move on and talk more about wrestling. I had like a bunch of things I was going to talk about. Like Payback is this week. I'm probably not going to go through the card, but we got to talk about All In. I did a whole like 15-minute video on TikTok where I separated and I gave each reasons why I liked what. Make sure you subscribe to the TikTok as well. I got really good views there, so thank you. But yeah, All In was a good pay-per-view. Now, I've read that Eric Bischoff said this, and I have to agree to what he said. All In, to me, could be the WrestleMania for them, because I do think you need one. Everyone needs that. I think Tony Khan's mission was to make things like like he didn't want a WrestleMania type. He wanted all his pay-per-views to feel like WrestleMania. Want to make the TV good ball. No, but I think you need one. I think everyone has a Super Bowl. Everyone has a that big coronation. And I'm not sure if we're gonna make All In that, but that wouldn't be a bad thing. They already now scheduled All In next year as well, so I think it's gonna be their fifth pay-per-view. Watch them just add more pay-per-views here and there. I know they have a WrestleCom that's happening. I think could be a mix with New Japan, which they already had with Forbidden Door. So you can slowly see that they're going to add more pay-per-views. I'm sorry, it's more money, it's more buys. Maybe have 6 a year, 7 a year. Maybe not always have the 12. But yeah, have something like that where if All In is your WrestleMania, then if I'm being honest, as a WrestleMania type, All In was like a 7 out of 10. And but if it wasn't an All In and just another pay-per-view, it was like a good 8.5 out of 10. The one thing I like about AEW, that's something I wish WWE would do, they try to put everybody in the card. If you are important, they try to put you in it. Doesn't matter. So I kind of like that. I wish WWE would do the same thing. They have a bunch of multi-man matches. I think if that's what you have to do at WrestleMania, that's what you do. Something I've always been a big fan of. Big WrestleManias or like big pay-per-views like SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble already has it with the 30 man, but like put everyone on. Put 4 women's matches. You can put 4 women's matches. You can make like 3 of them big tag matches. Just a 4-way for the women's title. Like I like that stuff. So I kind of enjoyed all that. Now All In only had 1 women's match. Shout out to Saraya who brought her family. So it kind of felt like it was about to be a big moment. So she won the title. I believe Hook won his FTW title in the pre-show. Pre-show again, we had let's say Adam Cole and MJF win the ROH title against the Aussie Open. So these things happen in the pre-show. They won the titles, then they face each other in the main event. Which, if I have to go bell to bell, the most entertaining match was that match. The main event was the most entertaining match. Was it the best match? Probably not. I think my favorite match, for some reason, I thought I was gonna hate it, was the Stampede match or the arena match with Moxley and crew, the Blackpool Combat Club versus Orange Cassidy, who to me, and I've said it before, if there's anyone in AEW that is protected more than anything, it's Orange Cassidy. That guy doesn't lose. Him, Sting, and CM Punk. They're the most protected guys in AEW. Easily. Easily most protected guys. But yeah, yes, let me go back to All In. Like I said, it was a 7 out of 10 pay-per-view. It was a good pay-per-view. It really was. I had some fun moments. Some things like I said, the thing I didn't care for was the stadium match, and that was to me the best match. I would watch that match again. If there's any match I had to watch again, it'd be that one. What I loved about the main event match was the cinema of it all. When you talk about Mr. Behind Me, the Bloodline storyline, what makes it so good is it's entertaining as hell. You don't know what move they're gonna make, and what everyone I think likes about this is that you don't know what the next move is, and I think that's what fans appreciate with MJF and Adam Cole. You don't know who's gonna turn on who. You're waiting for Adam Cole to do it. I love the ending where he's like, "I won." So MJF wins, and let me paint the picture. MJF wins, and he's yelling at Adam Cole. He's like, it's okay, man. I won by just a little bit. I just won by like you were close. Like you were close. You could have won. Like almost encouraging him, like, hey, try again next time. Which is like great storytelling if you think about it. You're like, what the hell? You just lost the match. You're telling this guy like everything was all fine and done. He's like, no, you almost could have won. It was okay. And Adam Cole was just pissed. And he's like, yo, we still are champions, whatever. And then he yells at him. He's like, what the hell? You don't want to be my friend. You're a fake friend. A little dramatic, but that was kind of cool. The best part about it. You're not my friend. Then he throws the title at him. He throws the title at him, the AEW world title. And he's like, if you want it so bad, just take it. Then he turns his back and he's ready to get like kicked in the head or punched or whatever. He's ready for it. And then there's Roderick Strong, who's just yelling like, do it, do it, do it. And he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. And throughout the match, they were both about to turn on each other, and he just didn't do it. That's great storytelling because it keeps the fans on the edge of the seat because now we're all waiting for when. We're just waiting for when it happens. And that's what entertainment was supposed to do. And I think sometimes AEW, it's every day you know more and more AEW is made for the 18 to 49 range and above, actually just 18 and above, where WWE programming is made for the kids all the way to whatever age. It's just a different demographic. I don't believe they're gonna show blood and guts. They kept saying in WWE matches, there's like two like brawls, that like, oh, Terry Funk would have loved this. No, he would have loved the match at AEW, not the WWE hardcore matches. That's not hardcore. I feel like the Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus was more, it had three table spots more than like the match I think was last week that they kept saying Terry Funk was gonna love, but that had way more stuff than I think it was the Street Profits match. Come on, the Becky Lynch and Tony Stark, Tony Stark, Zoe Stark, Tony Stark, was way more of a type of style that would be like that. But yeah, that the AEW match was good. It was so entertaining. So it keeps me wanting to watch, right? I think it's probably the second best storyline besides the Bloodline right now. It's the most consistent. It's the best thing that's going on in AEW. The best thing. There's nothing else that's going on in AEW that's entertaining. These ones. I think it's the one thing that they're a little bit lacking is the consistency in their storylines. And yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. So, what else was a note? The tag team match was good with FTR winning. I think everyone wants it to be a classic between these two. Sometimes when you have too much high expectations, it hurts you. Imagine a three-way or a four-way match between FTR, the Young Bucks, DIY, and the Usos. That'd be good. Maybe if I can sprinkle the New Day, maybe a five-way, that'd be pretty fun. But yeah, so that's just that the rest of the card, Sting and Darby Allin. I'm done with Sting. Like I like Sting. I just think him, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy. I'm good. I'm good with watching them. That could be a hot take, and you know what? I'm gonna leave that because I had a bunch of things that I just wanted to say that could be a little hot takey, could be a little negative. I could be just complaining to complain. But I had a few things that I wanted to say. But yeah, I thought All In was good. Good pay-per-view. Nothing else really noteworthy. Oh wait, CM Punk got into a fight. He got into a fight with Jack Perry. I think right now it's been announced. Well, I think the CM Punk one hasn't been announced, but Jack Perry was suspended, or is suspended, I should say, and CM Punk is also supposed to be suspended. But other than that, yeah, they fought because I think Jack Perry yelled. This is allegedly. Everything I'm saying is alleged. Jack Perry yelled at the camera while his match with Hook and said, "I think he's about to do a spot," and he's like, "This is real glass." And there was reports before, like a couple weeks ago, that CM Punk didn't want like real glass in Collision. Is CM Punk like? Is he the owner? Like, I don't get it. Why? Why does he have so much sway? I need someone to clarify that for me. Why does CM Punk have so much sway in this company? AEW looks like it's run by this guy. Like honestly, this guy is the second time there's been a brawl out. Second time, and he's the common denominator. I don't know how anyone doesn't see it. I would let him go. I don't care. I think CM Punk is. I'm good. I'm good. His match with Mojo was good as well. Probably one of the better matches of the night, if I'm honest. Samoa Joe is just I love him, love him, love him, love Samoa Joe. I wish he could come to WWE, and I wish Tony Khan would fire Samoa Joe. Okay, this sounds bad, but I wish then Triple H would re-sign him, let him attack Seth Rollins, and hold the title for like a flipping year. Okay, I love Samoa Joe. I think him with a title is amazing. I think him as a he's just amazing, amazing on the mic, amazing wrestler. Samoa Joe's that guy. He deserves to come back. I want him to come back to WWE. I really do. That's one guy I miss more than anything. I think funny enough, I think most black people love Samoa Joe. I don't know what it is, but I think most black people love Samoa Joe. But yeah, let me move on to Payback. That's this Sunday, and the thing is, All Out's this Sunday too. So, like I said, I'm not gonna do any previews of both. I don't know what the main event of All Out's gonna be. There's like multiple things that could happen. So, and I don't believe CM Punk will be on that. It's in Chicago, unless they make him go there and then suspend him after. But I'm not sure if he'll be there. I do know that well, MJF will probably have a match as well, probably a tag team match. Maybe him and Cole face Roderick Strong or something like that, and maybe somebody else. Well, I think something like that's gonna happen, but we're gonna have to stay tuned to Dynamite, which is tonight, as of before I record it. Payback. All I want to see, I like the fact there's no Roman, so then at least something else is gonna main event, which I think will be the first like non-Roman. Well, there's been non-Roman main events, but I feel like it'd be the first. I'm hoping Seth main events because I feel like Seth and that title have not main evented because when Roman Reigns is on the card, he main events. I would like to see Seth. And the thing is, I want to see Roman Reigns on the card and have Seth main event. You got to make that title mean something, and I think he can do that. Now, if I'm being honest, I kind of want Seth to lose because I like Shinsuke. I think Seth is really good the first month or two as a champion. I've said this before, but I don't believe he should hold the title much longer. I think he's done a good job. I think he's still that guy. I think Seth Rollins is he's him and Kevin Owens are two guys. You can just put him in big matches. It doesn't they don't need the title. Like, yeah, I would love for Kevin Owens to have a title, but they ultimately don't need it. It's not gonna make their match any more special. You can have this match with Shinsuke and doesn't even need a title. They could just and it still feel important because Seth Rollins is just one of the top like five guys in WWE, and he can make anything look important. I think eventually even like Brock is like that. Brock never needs the title. Brock just needs to seem important, and Brock is always important. So Seth is the same way. So yeah, I'd like to see Shinsuke win it, but I think also it's just me being biased of wanting Shinsuke to win it. Yeah, I think I want Shinsuke to win it. But if that is the main event, I wouldn't be surprised if Trish and Becky main event. I wouldn't even hate if they main event. I think is I really enjoyed the Becky and Zoe Stark's match, and because Becky won, maybe just maybe Trish wins the third round with the help of a Tiffany Stratton because you can see the tricklings of that feud happening, and that makes me think: is Becky gonna win the NXT title? That's what it looks like. Maybe they make Becky win it for Survivor Series. So then well, before Survivor Series, so then it'll be her, then Rhea, and Io at Survivor Series. Maybe do you do something like that? I don't know. But yeah, maybe that can main event. Maybe Seth can main event. I hope it's not the tag team match that they announced with the Judgment Day versus the tag team champs. Are we ready to split the titles? Let's split them. Like, I'm good. They're honorable guys. They're only on Raw though. I didn't like what is this? They're only on Raw. Split the titles. There's growing SmackDown tag teams. There's some growing Raw tag teams. Split the titles. I think we're good now. Triple H, let's get it going. Split the titles. But I hope that one doesn't main event. That should be like the middle of the card, and it's probably going to be the like steal the show because of where it's going to be placed on the cards. You think the first match or the middle match? I hope it's not the main event. Definitely hope it's not the main event. I think it'll be like the middle because it's going to get the fans excited, and yeah, I feel like they'll probably do that, and then for some reason put Rhea and Raquel as a. I always feel like they put women matches as a slowdown match, but I'm hoping Payback I hope it's a good pay-per-view because I think especially Triple H knows that the next day is all out and he knows all in will just happen. And one with Triple H era, he gives every match at least like 13 plus minutes. He always does. I've seen the report that he doesn't want to put too much matches in PLEs because he wants everyone to have the time on the card, which I agree with. Like the one thing with Triple H era that I like is that when he is putting matches, he gives them a long period of time so they can tell the story. It's not always like 12, 10-minute matches. It's long matches. So every match gets a story. That's why WrestleMania had like 8 matches, I think, the past 2 years, because it's all about Triple H saying, let's make these matches like mean something. And I appreciate that a lot. I'm gonna like end the podcast like this. You know, I all outs coming this week, payback, so maybe I'll have something else. So things I want to complain about. Yep, or a bunch of things I want to complain about. Just and I probably shouldn't complain this much, but I want to. Like I just said, tag team they need to be rebooted. Keep the tag teams keep don't separate tag teams. Like let's keep them. Let's make them. There's so much tag teams. Like let's make them important. I love tag team wrestling. I think what I like about Triple H's way of doing things is that it's sometimes making certain titles mean more. Like the IC title means a lot probably because the Gunther makes it mean a lot, and him and Chad Gable have a match, which I'm pretty sure is going to be like lights out. But you got to make every title mean something, and I'm hoping that's the case. Like I want the tag team mean something. This is where like if you're gonna have a bunch of PLEs, have them. Have a bunch of PLEs, but then make everything main event. Don't make the guy behind me main event every PLE. Mind you, he's where they came to see, but it's one of those things. If you want this guy to hold the title, let's just say another year. Like let's say like WrestleMania 41, 42, you want this guy to lose the title. Then you boast everyone else where every time Roman does come, it does mean something. So if he comes once a month, it does mean like, wow, Roman's here, the champion's here, like whatever. And then I feel the same way about the world title. I think you make them appear like Roman can still appear like two times a month or three times a month and just kind of like do his thing. And or like you start, I mean, now I'm going on a tangent. Maybe every Roman match you schedule and you just say like, okay, Roman's next match is Survivor Series and he's facing Chad Gable. So then the next month and a half you do it. Well, Roman's next match is gonna be WrestleMania. I mean, Royal Rumble, and he's facing this person. And then the rest of that's how you do it. That's how we should start building our big titles, right? Like Seth Rollins is not going to fight again until this day, and he's fighting this person. Kind of like the way boxing and UFC does it. You set them up, pre-set them up. You build the storyline because storyline's going to be ready-made. We already made the date, so do something like that. So that's what I was thinking about when I see all this stuff. Not only that, then it helps build the tag team titles. It helps build the every because you still got six titles. Like you still got six after the two world titles. You still got the two women's titles. You still got the two tag team titles. You got the two mid card titles. So all you're doing is making your PLEs, especially the other ones, not your big four, the other ones. The main events are already there. You have a big IC, a title feud, that main event's a pay-per-view. You have big tag team titles, or you want to do ladder matches, TLC matches, things like that. You make that main event. I think that's what I feel like the next step of Triple H's regime should be. And I feel like they're clearly listening to me here because I talked about that Chelsea Green. I'm like, hey, the best thing to do with Chelsea Green is you make her hold those titles and audition people. The audition only lasted like an episode of Raw, and which is fine. Piper McNevin is a champion, but that's what you lead to. Like you do it so it leads to something like that. So I kind of like all that. So that was my first complaint. But mind you, I have a little bit more, but I'll make them short. What are we doing with AJ Styles? I think it looks like he's going to turn heel. So I look forward to that. I love AJ. AJ, one of those guys who doesn't need a title. He can just be in big feuds. The fortunate the Karrion Kross one wasn't. I think Karrion Kross is a mid carder. He's the guy that I would give the U.S. title to, if I'm being honest, because of how he acts. You give him the U.S. title, and then he can make the U.S. title mean a lot more. Should he be world champion? No, he doesn't. I don't think that. I don't see it. But do I see a U.S. title in him? Like to me, there's so much. I think the mid card is so much better now. Like I think you have the certain main eventers, certain guys you see who hold the title, and I know sometimes you want to get fresh meat like the Ricochets of the world, but still you have your top mid carders that can always hold a title. Who are guys like Grayson Waller may never be a world champion, but he's the guy that can always have an IC title, a US title. The Miz, you can put the Miz anywhere. The Miz is that special, but the Miz type person you want to have an IC title, and that's where the young guys come with these vets like a Karrion Kross, who can hold the titles and make them feel more meaningful, especially when they have feuds with like baby faces who you want to eventually grow. Like the Chad Gable and Gunther stuff, like if there was another pay-per-view after Payback, but it wasn't Survivor Series, you'd make that main event. Why not? Let it main event. Go 30-minute Iron Man match, 60-minute. What the hell? Doesn't even matter. And that's how you do it. Where then Gunther would not get pinned the whole match, and but he would win by one. He would only win nothing. Like Chad Gable would hold off for most of the match, and then yeah, I don't know, just thinking about it. What are we doing with Bobby and the Street Profits? What are we doing? I just want to know because once again, the man behind me holds the title, so it makes it harder. Should Bobby have the US title or something? Maybe he did it before, but I think Bobby is one of those guys. He's not an upper mid. He's a main eventer, and it's funny we haven't seen a Bobby versus Roman Reigns feud. I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen at like a Royal Rumble. But Bobby's not beating Roman either. So because I kind of don't want that to happen. I wish Bobby was in. I wish he was in Raw. It sucks because with Roman Reigns holding the title so long, it does make it harder. But once again, I think it's one of those things where you do tournaments to face Roman Reigns, and then you keep Roman Reigns like watching things, and it's like, oh, the 6-man tournament or this 12-man tournament, it's gonna face me in Royal Rumble. Like you keep Roman still relevant to watch everything and still be on TV and talk. But he can also just brag the fact that he's the champion and he's not gonna compete the same level as everyone. Say that. Why not? But yeah, what are we doing with Bobby and team? I wish he was on Raw. To me, you give him the title. You let him beat Seth. That's what I do. I already mentioned the Sting. It said Sting and Jeff. Sting Jeff Hardy should stop. I literally wrote that shit. I wish I could show it to you. They should stop fighting. I agree. I agree with myself. But like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm done with Sting. He's very old and yeah, no, 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 no. See, then I wrote AEW's old guys wrestling just needs to chill because I think there's a lot of like older guys, and I get like nostalgia and the 40-year-old, 50-year-old man that's watching AEW now still wants to watch Sting. I'm good. I don't want to see the body shots. I don't want to see them like darn near hurt themselves. I just they just look so tired. They look so tired, and I don't know, man. I can chill. Um, which leads me to my last complaint about AEW. And this could be a WWE issue as well, but I see certain things are getting better. But with AEW, are you building the young guys? Like now I see Jack Perry's getting a little love and Stark's getting love. But the whole point of AEW, I swear also, was because there was too much veterans in WWE taking the spots from everybody else. And I kind of feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm looking at this completely wrong because you put Sting with Darby, and Darby's a young guy, and you keep putting like, you had Jake the Snake with Lance Archer at one point. Like you keep putting these guys with someone, but I don't know. Christian with Luchasaurus and Jack Perry at one point. So maybe you are, but I just something seems off to me. Like I feel like there's no young guys being built in the AEW right now. I think that's within itself its own issue, but that's an issue that I'm seeing. In my opinion, I feel like there's an issue of not building around enough young guys in AEW. But yeah, that's really it. That's my wrestling podcast for the week. Like and subscribe. I will try to probably do more. Don't forget to check the TikTok as well. As those guys sports on TikTok, wrestling. I love it. So why not? Like and subscribe. Make sure you acknowledge our tribal chief, Roman Reigns. This is taking long, but I'm gonna end it now. Oh, maybe I should stop it first.